Today we're going on an adventure in Germany's Obersaar region, a total hidden gem located next to the city of Cannes. Cannes is quite close to Trier, which a lot of people might have heard of because it's an amazing Roman ancient city, the oldest Roman city in Germany, and it has this really cool black gate called the Porta Nigra. But Cannes was a very strategic place for World War II, and recently, within the last, I think, maybe 15 years, some local residents actually uncovered a almost the entire bunker for World War II was intact, and they've rehabilitated it and created a twice-a-month sort of very interactive museum exhibit so that you can start to understand Germany's Siegfried Line, or as the Germans called it, the West Wall. Finding this little piece of history and getting little tiny insights on what it was like with this country under siege and attacking and getting attacked, and the 3 times that residents, the villagers of Cannes, needed to use these bunkers. It was really eye-opening. And especially today with all that's going on in Europe with Putin and with the Hamas and Israeli conflict, it's never more important to walk in the steps of history and feel the weight of history. We seem to keep making these mistakes over and over again and building walls and bunkers. And it is very interesting to actually go in one and see what it was like viscerally and feel it. Anyhow, after we visited the museum, Ruby and I decided to do a nice loop because kind of on the same theme, I found a art exhibit that was built a few years ago, and it is a stairwell to the gallows overlooking one of the most pretty and undiscovered horseshoe bends in the Saar River. It's one of those incredibly beautiful river bends that's almost like a 360, filled with vineyards in the middle and on the sides. There were paragliders flying over, and you get to walk right through the vineyards. I think we saw about 3 people the whole time, and it was one of the most beautiful weekends of the year in April. So altogether, it was about 9 miles, and it went from the city or the town of Cannes through vineyards, then into farm fields and through a very long forest, and then back to more vineyards, of course. Surprisingly though, Germany is not covered in vineyards. Every time we hike, I seem to think that we're going through a vineyard or a beautiful forest, but I think we just happen to live right in the middle and are surrounded on multiple sides by the German vineyard culture. And one of the funniest things that the guy said is he showed in the Cannes Museum is he had examples of like exactly the size of a box that they would keep their food rations in, how long they would last, how much water they would keep. And originally they had it built the bunkers for 5 people. And it was very, very similar to the Conservation Corps that Roosevelt did in the US. Is basically the same thing for Germany. They tried to stimulate the economy. Unfortunately, stimulating the economy meant building fortifications. But they built it for 5 soldiers, and it looked really, really tight for 5. But in the end, when the Allies were bombing, they would fit 25 civilians in this little tiny space. They had 2 jugs of water, and they had almost an equal amount of wine. So even in the height of war, the people along these river valleys in the German wine country, they do take their wine very seriously. And they should, because it has been vineyards since the Roman times. All right, well, thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Let's see how this trail unfolds.